Sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes I am speechless. And that is an example of a day that I am actually speechless. That game had everything. It was magnificent. It was, some would argue, a delectable medley of footballing splendour. What a moment, what a game, what a fight back from Manchester City. Manchester City have announced that the Premier League title race is still well and truly up for grabs. I cannot believe it. It felt like Manchester City were going to wilt. It felt like they were out of sight. It felt like it was going to be the perfect weekend for Arsenal yet again. But somehow Manchester City did everything to make sure that they could get something out of the game. Absolutely brilliant from them. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, the fight back, the determination, the tenacity, the spirit, the wherewithal, the flair. It was absolutely brilliant. And do you know what? It was just a joy to watch, I thought. I thought it was just a brilliant game of football, something that I thoroughly enjoyed watching, and every single aspect of it was perfection. These two teams have just delivered time and time again over the years, and it was, honestly, a really, really brilliant game. Bernardo Silva, everybody that has watched this channel regularly will know that I have often spoken about the true genius of Bernardo Silva. I rate him so highly. I think he's a class act, but his form of late has not been good enough. Suddenly, he puts in a performance like that. He puts in a performance of that magnitude. Now, I don't believe that Manchester City are going to win the league. I don't think they are capable. I think Arsenal are the best team in the league. I think Arsenal are, in fact, the best team in Europe. I don't think Arsenal should be panicking. I don't think Arsenal should be particularly concerned. In fact, I don't think Arsenal should even be watching that game. I don't think it matters to them. Arsenal did their job. Arsenal have built up a cushion. But from a Man City perspective, it's a dream come true. From a Manchester City perspective, it is exactly what they needed to do. If you are a Man City fan, you are now dreaming, because not only did they secure the 3 points today, the 3 points are huge. The 3 points on the board, that's what matters, right? That's what a lot of people say. The 3 points are what you're fighting for. The 3 points are why you go into battle. And ultimately, what you're trying to do each week is secure the 3 points. Now, that's obviously true. But do you know what comes with a win at Anfield? Do you know what comes with doing the double over Liverpool, the champions? Do you know what comes with doing the double over the champions for the first time since 1937? What comes with that is a belief. What comes with that is something truly, truly magical. And if you are a Manchester City fan now, imagine being in that away end. Can you imagine going potty in that away end? Can you imagine being in the dressing room after the game? Can you imagine being Erling Haaland? Haaland has been off form, chronically off form. He has been the Norwegian Jokeres. Suddenly he scores a winner at Anfield. You know, it's historic. That is only the fourth time that Manchester City have won at Anfield in 53 years. It's the first time for decades that they have done the double over Liverpool, and they've done the double over them the year that they are champions. It's big. It really is big. And like I say, if you are a City fan, I think you are dreaming now. If you are Pep Guardiola, I think that if there is ever an invigorating result, if there is ever a moment where a fire might be lit under you to galvanise you, to bring you all together, to somehow say, enough of this incoherent form, enough of this imbalance that has been across the team, and enough of this inconsistency that has plagued your season. This has to be it. Like I say, Arsenal shouldn't be bothered. The first super chat of the day has landed, by the way, and it is Joe Martin who said, Liverpool are unbeaten in all comps when Salah has not been starting. Do you know what? From a Liverpool perspective, I think they can feel really hard done by. Like, look, you know, people want to talk about Mohamed Salah, people want to talk about Salah's performance and whatever else. Listen, if Hugo Ekitike scores that goal, you know, the header in front of the Kop, Hugo Ekitike scores that goal, it's a completely different game. It's a completely different conversation, Joe. But look, I do know Liverpool are in a very difficult position. Everybody, again, who watches this channel regularly knows how highly I rate Arne Slot. They know that I believe that Arne Slot is an excellent manager. The fact that he is a champion puts him in a different tier altogether. But something isn't right. Something isn't right there. Danny Schuland in the super chat also says, typical Liverpool versus City match. Bernardo Silva is so good still. Again, I completely agree with you. I completely and utterly agree with you. I think that what we saw there was just that perfection of football. Sometimes, and again, watching the game as a neutral, kind of neutral, don't get me wrong, I wanted City to win primarily because I don't want Arsenal to win the league. But watching the game as a neutral, it's not my team. Sometimes you can just applaud. You're just like, this is football. It had everything. It had drama. It had jeopardy. It had anger. It had flashpoints. It had a sending off. It had a spectacular world-class save that could be considered a season-defining save. Like, how good is Donnarumma? You know when you talk about, like, the best goalkeeper in the league? Is Donnarumma the best goalkeeper in the world? You know, we've been talking about goalkeepers for a long time. Well, I've been making the case that David Raya is probably the best goalkeeper in the league. But then I see a save like that from Donnarumma, and you suddenly go, that is a save worthy of winning a team a league. And sometimes in football, you get these moments. You get these moments where things like this can happen. And maybe Donnarumma's save there could be considered, it could be considered a season-defining save. It was world-class, absolutely world-class. And if that goes in, we are having a very different conversation now. If that goes in, Arsenal fans are feeling very different now. I've just seen a super chat that has come in from Para's World. Thank you for your super chat, Para's World. And he says he's not going to lie. As an Arsenal fan, I am bricking it 100%, says Para's World. Yeah, look, I understand why. I understand why you have an element of anxiety if you are an Arsenal fan. I understand why you have an element of fear if you are an Arsenal fan. But what you also have to remember as an Arsenal fan is you are the best team in the country. You are the best team in the country. You are the best team in Europe. You are top of the league. You are top of the league for a reason. There aren't that many games left. You have a cushion. I think if you are an Arsenal fan, it's time to be just a little bit more arrogant. Do you know what? Do you know what I would be saying if I was an Arsenal? I'd be going, I didn't even watch it. Didn't even watch it, mate. We done our job. Did you see what we did? Is what I'd be saying. I'd be saying, did you see what we did? Did you focus on our result this weekend, this game week? Did you focus on our result? That's what needs to be focused on. Did you see us put in a performance against Sunderland at home that was bog standard? Sometimes in football, it's about that. You know, that kind of like bog standard result. Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0, wallop onto the next one. Professional. Not really noteworthy. Nothing major happened. It wasn't a swashbuckling game. You're not going to think about that game in 10 years' time. You're not going to think about that game in 1 year's time. It was just a standard professional performance. Get the job done, on to the next one. It was like we turned up, we battered Sunderland, we went home. Job done. I think Arsenal fans should be a little bit more arrogant. I think they should be focusing on their own brilliance. Now, can I ask you a quick favour before we go any further? Could you please drop a like on this stream? Really, really helps me out, if you wouldn't mind, because I love talking football with you. And if you drop a like, there's a chance that we could break the 1,000 barrier, which would be a dream come true of concurrent viewers. So please do like this stream. It massively helps me out. Going back into the super chat here, it's Luke Anderson who says, Bernardo Silva really showed up midfield levels. Yeah, I mean, Bernardo Silva is a class act. His form hasn't been good enough of late. But I've always been maintaining, like I went viral a long time ago when I was suggesting that Bernardo Silva was one of the best players in the world. I suggested that he should have been on the shortlist for the Ballon d'Or. And people thought that that was ridiculous. People thought it was ridiculous. He was in a team with Kevin De Bruyne. But I think Bernardo Silva is a true great of the game. I really do. I think Bernardo Silva is a true Premier League great. I know that his form has suffered of late. And what's sometimes very difficult is when you make arguments like this at a time when a player isn't necessarily playing that well, it doesn't age kindly. It's like if I said to you that some people would be saying that Bruno Fernandes is one of Manchester United's best ever midfielders. If I said that to you last year, if I said that to you when Manchester United got beat by Tottenham, you would have said it's ridiculous. Whereas you say it now off the back of 4 wins, everyone goes, yeah, he's better than Gerrard. Do you know what I mean? But Bernardo Silva reminded a lot of people today exactly how good he is. A true great of the game. And that goal, gambling is so important. You always have to gamble. If you are a footballer, you simply must gamble. You know, if I had a son, I would be coaching my son and I would be saying, listen, gamble. Make the run before the ball's there. And if you watch Bernardo Silva's movement, it is elite. It is so different. It's what sets him apart. He has made a run into the box before Haaland flicks it on. That's how clever he is. He has gambled. What can happen in that circumstance is Haaland doesn't flick it on. Haaland doesn't win the header. Haaland flicks it over the other way. Haaland tries to control it. Haaland, effectively, as a footballer, you make that gamble. You've got to gamble. 1 in 10, the ball falls at your feet, and what a finish from him. An exquisite footballer, and he was the personality of the team today. He was the manager on the pitch. He was the statesman in the midfield, and he was the man that said, even at 1-0 down, we are going to fight for this. We are going. You look at the reaction to sticking the ball in the back of the net. It was amazing. It really was amazing. And I just thought that game of football had everything. The only thing it had that we didn't want it to have was a ludicrous VAR decision. And you know what? I just put a tweet on Twitter. Let me tell you what I said, and you can tell me what you think here. This is my approach to what happened in the game. This is exactly what I've said on social media. I've said sometimes in life, you try something for the right reasons. VAR was noble. It was a well-intentioned idea. It's like when Victor Frankenstein made that monster. He was trying something good, but it nearly killed him. VAR is that monster, and it's having the same effect on football. It is time to scrap it. That is the most absolute, apparent, obvious example of why it needs to be scrapped. And let me tell you for why. Some people, when they talk about what happened, they will argue that it robbed us of a goal, and they will focus on the fact that it robbed us of a goal. They will argue that the goal is what it robbed us of. That is wrong. Those people are wrong. Those people are not taking in the entirety of what it robbed us of. We are football fans. First and foremost, right? We're football fans. We're tribal. We're biased. We're argumentative. But the reason that we all have a community here, the reason that you are watching, the reason that you are engaging, and I'm honoured that you are here, is because, first and foremost, we love the beautiful game. Do you know what this robbed us of? It robbed us of a moment. Football is about moments. Football is about memorable moments that you tell your children about. It's about moments that you can remember long into your old age. And Ryan Shirky scoring from the halfway line in a Liverpool versus Manchester City game. Ryan Shirky scoring from his own half at Anfield to secure Man City a 3-1 win, to invigorate the title race. We will be talking about that moment for eternity, in the way that we will talk about David Beckham scoring at Selhurst Park from the halfway line for eternity, in the way that we will talk about Xavi Alonso scoring at Kenilworth Road from the halfway line for eternity, in the way that we will talk about Naeem scoring from the halfway line in a European final against Arsenal. These are the moments that make us who we are. These are the moments. And it's robbed us of it. Like, why are you a football fan? Genuinely. Like, if I ask you the question, why? Let me tell you why. I know the answer to this. Effectively, as football fans, you know what we are? We're junkies. We're chasing a buzz, man. We are chasing that buzz. And our buzz comes from goals. It comes from moments. And VAR is toxic. It is ruining the game. It is ruining that moment. It is ruining that spontaneity. You can't celebrate a goal. And a moment like that, Shirky. And do you know what? The foul on the way through. So Boslai's foul, Haaland's foul. Sometimes football's ugly. Stop robbing us of the stuff that we crave. Stop robbing us of the stuff that makes us who we are. Stop robbing us of the stuff that makes us feel it. Because that's what football's doing. And it is so, so painful. These bozos in suits making arbitrary decisions that mean nothing to them. They are purifying a game. They are sanitizing a game that just doesn't need it. And I hate them. I hate the people involved. I hate Craig Pawson. I hate everybody involved in these decisions. I hate everybody involved in Uxbridge making these stupid decisions. Whether it benefits your team or whether it doesn't, it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace to the game. It is a disgrace to everything that has gone before it. And I think that something like this happening on such a grand stage, something like this happening in such a magnificent game, I think it really should allow the powers that be to say, we tried. There's nothing wrong with holding your hands up and saying, do you know what? We tried. We tried to perfect it. We thought that we needed tech. When the tech came in, I wanted it, by the way. I wanted it. But now I am president of the Anti-VAR Society. I am president and co-founder of the Anti-VAR Society. There's nothing wrong with trying something and then going, do you know what? A few years later, we hoped it would work. We hoped it would solve problems. But it hasn't. And do you want to be in my Anti-VAR Society? If you do, like the video. Like this stream right now. I want to see how many people want to be in it. Right? How many likes are going to land right now? Because I am president and co-founder. So I can inaugurate you. You can be part of this if you want. I'm going back into the super chat now. DRIN171 says, from champions to not even top four like we're Leicester and we spent 400 million, just not acceptable. Slot is finished. Season done a long time ago. I mean, the season's not done. You've still got a European Cup to play for. But you obviously believe that your season is done because you cannot compete in that. I think you are probably right. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think it's gone as far as it can go with Slot now. I think the way that he's been speaking has been so wrong. I think he's getting it wrong. He doesn't feel managerial. He doesn't feel like the statesman that Liverpool need. He doesn't feel like he has that power. And he is making some big footballing mistakes. He is making some massive mistakes in the way that he's conducting himself. If I ever hear Arne Slot talk about a low block ever again, I don't know what I'll do. I think it's sackable, actually. His responsibility is to come up with an answer as to how to deal with a low block. He must do that. He can't moan about teams employing the low block. You have to solve that. Like, he just doesn't feel like... And then the other thing, did you hear when he was talking about style of play and how a style of play is almost better than winning silverware? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said something similar, and it did for him. Do you remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said it? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer only said it about the League Cup. The fact that Slot is talking about having a style of play and suggesting that it is actually more appetising to football fans. At Liverpool, the most greedy, trophy-hungry club in the country, right? They are the most successful club in the country. He is the manager of the most successful club in the country, who idolise trophies, who adore trophies, who make trophies their be-all and end-all. And then he says that. I mean, I just can't believe it. I truly can't believe it. And this Liverpool team, I mean, they are crumbling. I mean, they have less points after 25 games of this season than Manchester United had after 25 Premier League games under David Moyes. 4 points more than Liverpool had after 25 games in the season that Roy Hodgson was sacked. It's over. It is over. There is somewhere a fat lady who is singing because it is over for Arne Slot. And I think Arne Slot's reputation will be fine. I think he'll get other work. I think that he will get other big work. And I think Liverpool fans will probably look at his time at the club fairly promisingly, fairly happily. Like, I think overall his contribution isn't bad. But yeah, I do think that it is over. Vikram, in the super chat, what's happening, sir? Vikram says, Rory, what is your opinion on Arsenal fans? Do you think they are annoying? Yeah, massively. A lot of them are. Listen, I'm from a corner of North London where there's a lot of Arsenal fans. And I know a lot of my mates. A lot go to the Emirates every week. Season ticket holders in the North Bank there. They're less annoying. But the ones who swear at me on the internet every day, the ones who make memes about me, yeah, they're very annoying. And they hate me. But yeah, they're very annoying. And do you know what? They have so many fans. That's the thing with Arsenal. I don't know if you realise this. Like, you know, when people have this debate, Chelsea, Arsenal, who's a bigger club? I think that it's a debate, by the way. I think it is a debate. But the one thing that Chelsea fans cannot argue with, Arsenal have more fans. Arsenal fans are everywhere. They're everywhere, mate. They have the most amount of fans in London by an absolute mile. I'd say compared to other London clubs, it goes Arsenal, then it's like all the other London clubs together. 50% of London supports Arsenal. Painful, mate. Painful. If they win, I'm going away. I'm joining a members club, and I'm leaving London for 4 days if they win the league. Serious, I can't be around it. And everywhere I go, I'm from Kilburn, I've got to go there, full of Arsenal fans. I work in Dalston, I've got to go there, full of Arsenal fans. The whole of London. So yes, they are very annoying, Vikram. But the painful thing is, you got to get ready for it, because they are going to win the league. Ben, in the super chat, says, third Man City goal in. See the intensity of the front foot race between Haaland and Szoboszlai, and the ref disallowed the goal. Just felt VAR sucker punch ruined something deeper than the title context that makes football so special. I completely agree. But by the way, Haaland, when he gets going, rapid. He's like a gazelle, isn't he, or a giraffe. Like, they're a little bit slow when they get going, but once he was off, he's like a racehorse. He's like Red Rum. You could put a couple of hurdles in front of him, he'd win the Gold Cup at Cheltenham. Rapid, left. I tell you what, Dominic Szoboszlai did not see his arse for dust. That's why he had to foul him. But he fouled him, ball ends up in the back of the net, Shirky scores from half time. Everyone's a winner, baby. There is no drama. And the referees have to make it all about them. And that is why it is just so painful. Fantastic point though, Ben. I agree. And you're absolutely right. It's the point that I was making before. The VAR sucker punch, as you refer to it, which is so perfectly put, it robbed us of a moment. Football is about moments. Life is about moments. And Shirky scoring from the halfway line in front of those City fans, that away end going potty as they go 3-1 up, that should be historic. Instead of that, do you know what's historic? Craig Dopey Pawson. That's who we're going to be talking about. Craig Dopey Pawson, who has gone and decided to rule it out. Like, as decisions go, I think that just has to be one of the most foolish ones ever. Like, you know when you think about the history of VAR, that for me is like the dumbest of the dumb. It's like the nut low. You know, like the lowest that it could be. What are you doing, you moron? It's just so painful. Really, really upsetting and really, really painful. But today, obviously now, belongs to Man City. I think the title race, some would argue, is well and truly alive. Some would argue that the title race has been invigorated today. Some would argue that the title potentially has been blown wide open today. I am not one of those people. I'm not yet one of those people. But it's a big result. Because if Manchester City beat Fulham, which, let's face it, they should beat Fulham. They're very likely to beat Fulham. If they beat Fulham, they go 3 points. There is 3 points. Manchester City play on Wednesday against Fulham at home. They simply have to win that game. That puts the pressure on Arsenal going away to Brentford. You know, Keith Andrews is doing a very good job at Brentford. Arsenal will go away to Brentford knowing that Manchester City are only 3 points behind them. And they still have to go to the Etihad. So it's game on. It is game on. But this is the point that I keep making. And Arsenal fans, if you're watching, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going to tell you my take on it. And I want to hear your thoughts. I believe if you're an Arsenal fan, I think that you should feel very relaxed. I really do. Nothing's changed today. Nothing's changed. You did your job. You were functional. You were excellent. You did exactly what you were supposed to do in beating Sunderland at home. You beat Sunderland at home. You beat Sunderland at home convincingly. You got the job done in a very professional way. And that's all you needed to do. You know, a goal just before half-time settled the nerves. Then your, in my opinion, dud striker scores 2. You win the game 3-0. Job done. You don't need to worry about this. I'm telling you, this is how I would approach it if Chelsea were in this situation. This is how I would approach this scenario. I would pretend that I didn't even know what had happened with Man City. I mean, what? Oh, did they play Man City? Who cares? Mate, we've got a 6-point cushion over them. We're not worried about them. We're focusing on Keith Andrews and Brentford. Sorry, I didn't even know they played. Oh, did they win? Oh, yeah. So what are they now? So they were 9 points behind us, so they're 6. Yeah, minor. Who cares? The reason why you get yourself into such a privileged situation, the reason why you get yourself a 9-point advantage is because Man City are a good team. Guardiola's a good manager. So you get yourself a 9-point advantage. They cut it down to 6. Big deal. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Arsenal should be aware of it. I think Arsenal should be now looking at the Brentford game. They now know that it's a must-win game. There was, I guess, a little bit of leeway if it had gone the way that it looked like it could go. But I really don't see it as being a particularly troublesome game. I really don't. Like, I still believe that Arsenal will win the league. In fact, could you do me a favour? In the comments, could you just write Arsenal or Man City? Whoever you believe will win the league. Just write the word Arsenal or write the word Man City. It's obviously now a 2-horse race. Now Villa have completely and utterly pressed the self-destruct button. So it's a 2-horse race. I just want to see what word overwhelms the chat. Do you believe Arsenal will win the league? Or do you believe Man City will win the league? I just want to see exactly who the majority believe. Okay, the first one has landed from Pat Zach, who says City. Luke Anderson also says City. There's a couple more cities. Okay, Joe Hunter, Arsenal. City says Jake Stefan. City can't even fill their own stadium, says the Beefcake. Not quite the point. True, but not quite the point. City says Ellen Lord. Arsenal, John Luke. Arsenal, Joe Berg. Arsenal, Bluku. City, Arsenal. Ishmael says Arsenal. Oh, it's Arsenal. It's Arsenal dominant, isn't it? It's Arsenal dominant. United says Ben Turner. That would be a turn up for the books. Arsenal. It's overwhelmingly Arsenal. It's absolutely overwhelmingly Arsenal. So I consider the subscribers on this channel to be incredibly intelligent. I consider you to be footballing sages. I consider you all to be absolute footballing sages. The top tier. You are all the Karl Marx of football. You are all the most intelligent man in the room, in any room that you walk in. And the vast majority of you are saying that Arsenal will win the league. The vast majority. When I say subscribers, by the way, you better be subscribers. Oh, do you know what? We are only 50 subscribers away from hitting a landmark, which is 379. 50 subscribers. If there are 50 of you watching this who are not subscribed, we could nudge from 378 to 379 right while we're live. I'll pop the champagne. If we get there. Is anyone watching not subscribing? Please do click subscribe. It would be my honour to welcome you into this community. I'm looking overall far more Arsenal. Beefcake Arsenal, Reece Cooper Arsenal. Yeah, I mean it is just Arsenal. I'd say 70% of the chat is Arsenal. Weirdly, someone keeps saying Norwich will win the league. That is very unlikely. Joe Hunter's very intelligent. Joe Hunter says, "Come on, subscribe, people." Joe Hunter is correct. Killian Brady, I'm subscribed. Welcome, Killian. Welcome, sir. So look, the vast majority of you are all incredibly intelligent. We've established that. The vast majority of you have said that Arsenal will still win the league. So if you are an Arsenal fan and Manchester City have had this massive result, what does it matter? I'll put the argument forward. The argument forward is that this result invigorates Man City. This result invigorates Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland scoring the winner in the way that he did, a sumptuous penalty, is going to awaken him. Does anyone believe that? Does anyone believe that Man City will be galvanised by this? I don't. Does anyone believe that Erling Haaland is now going to go on a run comparable to the run that he went on at the beginning of the season? I don't. Does anyone actually believe Bernardo Silva when he's telling us that they're going to win the league? They're telling us that they're going to fight, telling us that they're going to go for it forever? I don't. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I genuinely don't. I don't see it that way. I'm just going to go back to the super chat now. Bondi, 2007, says VAR is a joke. They play advantage. He can't clear it because they pull it back, so Haaland fouling him is irrelevant. Penny's wrong too. Ball in play, but speed of it never getting there. Common sense goal. Completely and utterly agree, Bondi. And it is another example of football allowing the bureaucracy to invade the beautiful game. And that's what it is. It is another example of football allowing the bureaucracy to invade the beautiful game. Football is a contact sport. It's an ugly sport. It's a beautiful sport. It has everything. That's why we love it. And trying to sanitize it to this level, trying to cleanse it of any impurity is so dumb. Trying to make it this perfect. Football is perfect because of its imperfection. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why this is happening. I really don't. It's so foolish. And do you know what? We're just lucky that it didn't affect. Can you imagine if the score was 1-1 when that happened? Imagine if the score was 1-1 and that goal was ruled out. I mean, this is what is happening. This really is what is happening. They are destroying the game from within. And it's it's heartbreaking to see, really. I think, though, is there a world where something of this magnitude could actually have an impact, and maybe off the back of this, something drastic changes? Maybe they say that they tried and they failed, because that's what this is. Because that's exactly what this is. It's just so ridiculous. Hopefully they can get rid of it. But the game itself, let's not focus on this hatred of VAR. Let's not focus on the horror show that was Craig Pawson. Let's try and focus on the dramatic comeback, the outrageous minerals displayed by Man City, the fight to the end qualities of that team, the tenacity of that side, the spirit that Guardiola input into this team. Let's focus on that. Like, to win in the way that they did, to potentially reignite the title race. It was just magnificent, isn't it? Like, I know Arsenal fans didn't want it to happen, but football's the winner. Like, we now have a title race. We now have something pretty spectacular to look forward to. Michael M in the super chat says the slot machine pays out yet again. Yeah, I mean, the slot machine is coming to an end. It's broken down. It's broken down. It is in need of an engineer to come and fix it. And that engineer's name is Xavi Alonso. We all know what's going to happen, don't we? We all know what's going to happen. As me and James Alcott established in the last video that we put out, Xavi Alonso is Rachel in Friends. And Xavi Alonso is Rachel. And and Arne Slot. Arne Slot is Helen Baxendale. Do you remember the English girl that Ross married? That's who Arne Slot is. Ross needs Rachel, and Xavi Alonso is Rachel. Rory, can you explain to me again why you hate Kai Havertz? No, I can't, Vikram. But I do hate him. I hate him with every single fibre of my being. People would say to me, Rory, do you know what? Off the back of that video, do you know what people said? They said, Rory, how can you hate Kai Havertz? You're a lucky man, Rory. You have a family. You have beautiful children. You have friends. You're fortunate. Your mum is still healthy. Touch wood. Your grandma is less healthy, but she's still alive. You have a lot to live for, a lot to love. How can you find time to be so hate-filled with regard to Kai Havertz? Do you know what I said? I said I find the time. I dedicate the time. I cut out a little portion of every day to think just how much I dislike Kai Havertz. Just how much that man has upset me in my life. Every day. Just a little moment. I think it's important. I have a little bit of Rory time where maybe I'm having a coffee. Maybe I'm treating myself to a pan au chocolat. Maybe I'm on the commute. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast. In that moment, just to cut out a little portion of the day, to dedicate a little bit of hatred to Kai Havertz. It's because I'm a man of pure principle. Once a day, I don't let it slip. Other people, they don't hold a grudge. I hold a grudge. Now, I still hate David Beckham from 1998 when he fouled Diego Simeone. I hold a grudge. Not enough people do that in life. I'm obviously talking tongue-in-cheek before people get really serious. You notice that it all goes on the internet. You say something as a joke and people are like, oh my God, Roy still hates Beckham from 98. Obviously not true. Obviously saying it for the fun. But no, Vikram, that is my feeling on Kai Havertz, if you need to know. AJ Official says, Arsenal all day long, this is our time. And do you know what has been displayed there by AJ Official in the super chat? AJ's bang on. AJ's bang on. Do you know that? Like, that is the mentality that AJ is demonstrating, that Arsenal fans should be demonstrating all over. That's what should be happening. Arsenal fans should be feeling like that. Arsenal all day long, this is our time. That's what he said. And that's what you should be feeling. If you're an Arsenal fan, that is truly the way that you should be approaching this. You truly should be looking at it. It's your time. It's your time. You've got it in the bag. You're the team to beat. You're the team with the cushion. Who cares if Man City won? You had a 9-point cushion over them. Who cares? I honestly believe that is what should be being said. I honestly believe that is what should be being said. So AJ, I think that you have undoubtedly hit the nail on the head. Undoubtedly. Going to check, by the way, have we made it? No, we haven't. Sadly, we are still 38 subscribers short of the promised land. If there are 38 of you watching this that aren't subscribed, please click subscribe right now. There is a chance that we could reach the promised land. There is 379. There is a chance, by the way. There is a chance. So please do consider it. Massive, massive game. Massive, massive day. Absolutely loved it. The title race may well be up and running again. Let me know what you think. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I wish you well. I wish you love. I wish you success. Maybe the title race is up and running. See you in a bit.